Good morning and welcome to morning yoga. I hope you're well today. As always, you don't need any equipment to do this class. If you do have a mat, then that's absolutely great. Get that laid out now. If you want any props such as a cushion, a pillow or a block, then sometimes it's nice for positions where you might want to elevate your hips. So if we do lots of seated positions and you have got tight hips or sore back, then sometimes it's nice just to place a pillow or a cushion underneath the seat bones just to elevate you. If you do have any injuries at all today, then please listen to your body and just practice with your body and your limitations. I can't see you, so you have to be kind to your body and listen to what it's trying to tell you today. Any pain, then you need to stop, you need to come out of a pose, and you need to perhaps reassess how you get into that pose or execute that pose. If there is just a little bit of discomfort, then maybe we work with the breath and try and find some comfort within that discomfort. So this is just going to be a really gentle, nice morning flow. We're going to look at a few twists, so really starting to wring out the internal organs, get rid of any tightness or tension in the body, and leave you feeling really good and ready to get on with your day ahead. So we're going to start this morning in our child's pose. So starting over on all fours, and then bring the big toes to touch. Taking a gap in the knees, so if the hips are nice and open, then maybe taking that gap a little bit wider. If not, then just bringing the knees a little bit closer together, sinking the seat back towards the heels, and just starting by extending the hands out in front. And then taking the forehead down, just gently rolling the head from side to side, pressing the forehead down into the mat, so really grounding down. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, so the whole of the palm is pressed down into the ground. And then just taking an internal scan of the body, so just checking in with yourself to see how you're feeling today. Noticing anything that comes up in the body, just acknowledging that, and then letting it go, just releasing and moving on without any attachment to that thought or to that feeling. And then just gently bring the awareness to the breath. So we're going to practice today with a nasal breath, so you're breathing in through the nose and then out through the nose. So just gently bring the awareness to that breath now. Don't force, don't push, just a nice natural breath. Knowing at any point during the practice you can come back to this breath, you can come back to this pose if you need to rest or if you just need time out for yourself. Then start just to make that breath a little bit deeper. So as you inhale, maybe feel those ribs expanding onto the thighs. As you exhale, completely release. Completely let go. Taking a few more breaths like this. Deep inhale. Exhale, release. Taking one more here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Now keeping the hips, keeping the lower body where it is, just gently walking the hands over to the right hand side. Taking the left hand just a little bit higher than the right hand, taking a nice side twist, side bend. Feeling a stretch from the little finger on the left hand all the way down into the left hip. Just taking that forehead back down again. If you want to make that stretch a little bit deeper, then maybe just gently guiding the hip back, or just gently moving the left hand forwards just a little bit more. Just remember that we're warming the body up, so don't force or push it anywhere it doesn't want to go today. And then gently moving the hands over to the left hand side this time. Again, the right hand reaches very slightly higher than the left. Just really feeling that nice stretch down the right hand side of the body. Take the forehead down again. Just working with the breath. And then back to center, making your way up into your tabletop position, so coming onto your 4-point kneeling. So hands shoulder width apart, nice straight line between shoulders, elbows and wrists. And then stacking the hips over the knees with the knees about hip width apart. So spread the fingers nice and wide, really ground down into the hands. The tops of the feet are pressing down into the mat. And then just taking the gaze between the hands. So a nice neutral long spine. And then start to engage the core here. So really feeling those deep core muscles. We're just going to take a few rounds of cat and cow. This time we're going to actually reverse to what we normally do. So this time we're going to inhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone, we're going to tuck the chin. As we exhale, we're going to lift the tailbone, we're going to lift the chin. Inhale, navel to spine, round the shoulders. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. Take 2 more rounds like this. Inhale. The reason we're reversing how we would normally breathe in this posture, exhale, is just because we can come a little bit complacent, maybe going through the motions. Inhale, without really connecting to the breath. So this brings the attention to the breath. Exhale makes that movement just a little bit more mindful. And coming back to center, resetting here. Just taking some nice figure of 8s now with the hips. So take the hips over to the right heel, over to the left, and then just bring them forward. So just warming the wrists up gently. Knowing that you can pause at any point if it feels good. So as we lean forward, we start to extend the hips. As we lean back, we're really getting into those hip flexors. And then coming back the opposite way. I've got plenty of clicks in my wrists and my hips, just wringing everything out from the day before, anything that's lingering in the body that I would really like to get rid of. And then just sinking back onto the knees. If it's too much for you to sit on the knees, then coming over onto the seat bones into a seated position. You're just going to clasp the hands here, take them forwards, tuck the chin into the chest, round the shoulders, really drawing the navel back into the spine. Feeling a stretch all the way across the upper back. And then taking the hands up overhead. Try and relax, release the shoulders here. So we don't want to bunch the shoulders up by the ears, but relax and release. Maybe taking the gaze up to the hands if that's okay with the neck. And then just float the hands down, clasp the hands at the base of the spine, lift the chest, lift the chin. Starting to take a tiny back bend here if that feels good with the back. Opening out the chest, opening out the front of the shoulders. And then exhale, release. Coming back into our tabletop position. We're going to come forward into our low lunge position. So we're going to step the right foot forwards here. So step the right knee on top of the right ankle. The left knee, the left foot is grounded down into the earth. Taking the hands, palms together, pressing into that right knee, just lifting the chest, making sure the tailbone's tucked under. So what we don't want to do is collapse into that lower back. So lifting here, breathing, opening out the chest, maybe closing the eyes up and just reconnecting with that breath, with that body. Take another inhale. As you exhale, release the hands. Taking the hands down by the sides. So we're going to start to straighten into that right leg. Flex the right toes up towards the ceiling. If it's too much to straighten the leg, then just taking a nice little bend in the right knee. Keeping the chest lifted. Walking the hands back as far as you need. If this is too much here, then maybe taking the hands to the hips. Coming up a little bit higher. Just feeling that stretch in the right hamstring. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale, walk the hands forward one more time. This time we take the hands up overhead into our low lunge. Relax the shoulders, lift the chest. Inhale. Exhale, float the hands down again, framing the right foot. Walk the hands back, coming into our half split once again. So really flexing those right toes up towards the ceiling, feeling the stretch in the right hamstring. Just working with your body and then bringing the attention back to the breath. Take one more breath here. And then walking the hands forward, taking the palms flat down this time, right leg comes back into our tabletop position. Doing the same with the left leg this time. So left foot comes forward, stacking the knee on top of the ankle. Clasp the hands, press the hands down and lift the chest. And then come back to that breath. Try and relax the shoulders. Notice if any tension's crept into the jaw or the shoulders. Just relax and release it here. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, release those hands down. Start to straighten into the left leg this time. Toes up to the ceiling. Again, if that's too much here, maybe coming up a little bit higher, or maybe softening that knee. Just as long as you can feel that nice stretch, that release in the hamstring, then it doesn't matter whether it looks like mine. Working with your body. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, walk the hands forward, coming into our low lunge. This time we reach the hands up, overhead, relax the shoulders. Breathe here. So we're opening out into the hips here. Inhale. Exhale, frame the foot, walking the foot back, hands back. Toes to the ceiling, chest is lifted, hamstring stretch. Inhale. Exhale, one more breath. And then walking those hands forward again. Placing the hands down, taking the left foot back into our tabletop position. And then making our way into our downward facing dog. So tuck the toes and send the seat back towards the heels. Pressing into the hands, we're going to start to lift the hips nice and high towards the ceiling. And then just bending one knee and then the other, pedaling into the feet. Maybe putting some movement into the hips if that feels good. Maybe taking a double knee bend, or nodding and shaking out the head, whatever feels good for your body today. So just any movement that your body needs. If this is too much, again, then you can always come back to our child's pose, how we started the practice, and just come back to the breath. Just working with whatever you need. And then finding some stillness here. So if the heels come down to the floor, that's great. If they never do, then that is absolutely perfect too. Just remembering we want to lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the hips, and then take the gaze between the ankles or the knees. Take 2 breaths together here. So inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. Take a deep bend in the knees and just slowly walk the hands back towards the feet. Bending the knees as much as you need to take the chest down towards the thighs. Just finding our ragdoll here. So catching hold of either elbow and just gently swaying from side to side or forwards and backwards, just transferring the weight between the toes and the heels. Nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. Just trying to release all the tension from the body. So imagine that the upper body is completely heavy, like lead. You're trying to take the crown of your head down to the floor. Just breathing here. And then releasing the elbows. Keep the chin and the head tucked. We're going to slowly start to roll up into standing. When you get there, give the shoulders a big roll. Send the shoulder blades down the spine. And then just heel toe the feet together. So the big toes are touching with a slight gap in the heels. We're going to find our mountain pose here. So take the big toes to touch with that slight gap in the heels. Really ground down into the feet. So spread the toes nice and wide. Ground down. Feel each toe, each corner of the foot pressed against the mat or the ground. And then think about reaching up through the inner arches of the feet. As you do that, the knees engage, the thighs engage, tuck the tailbone under, so really strengthening through this midsection, through our core. Give the shoulders a roll, send the shoulder blades down the back. Take the hands by the sides with the palms facing forwards and just close the eyes off here just for a moment. And then just come back to that breath. So that breath that you started the practice with, the breath that keeps us here in the present moment. Come back to that feeling, come back to that breath just before we start moving again. Take one more together. Inhale. Exhale. From here, as we inhale, we're going to float the hands up towards the sky. Take the palms to touch, take the gaze up towards the thumbs. As we exhale, we take a deep forward fold, leading with the chest down towards the thighs. Soften the knees as much as you need to. From here, we inhale, we take the hands to the shins or the thighs with a nice flat back. Just taking the gaze forwards. As we exhale, we fold back down. Tuck the chin, lengthen through the spine. Press into the feet, bend the knees, rise back up. Exhale, hands to heart. Do that 2 more times. So inhale, the hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Softening the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, lift the chest, take a half forward fold, hands to shins or thigh. Exhale, fold, lengthening the spine and the neck. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. One last time together. Inhale, the hands up. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. This time, bend the knees, slowly walk the hands forwards. Back into our downward dog. So just take those feet a little bit wider. The hands to shoulder width. We take 2 breaths here together. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Take a deep bend in the knees. Lower the knees down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Just take the legs back, coming down on to your front. From here, just taking the hands underneath the shoulders. The feet are about hip width apart with the tops of the feet, pressing down into the floor. The legs are active, so the knees are slightly lifted away from the floor. The glutes are engaged. You're going to start to work into the lower back just a little bit. So the hands are below the shoulders without too much weight in the hands. We're going to inhale. We're just going to start to peel the chest and the shoulders away from the floor, coming into a baby cobra. We then exhale, release. One more time, inhale, lift. Feel the shoulder blades slide away from the ears. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. This time as we inhale, maybe pressing up just a little bit higher. So maybe starting to lift the chest a little bit higher. If that's too much, then just staying down here. Or just exploring if that works for you. Exhale, release. Just doing that one more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Take the hands by the sides, just rocking the hips from side to side, releasing the lower back. If there is real tightness or tension in the back, maybe pressing back into child's pose, rounding out the back. If that was okay, then just staying with me with the feet in this position. We're going to clasp the hands at the lower back this time. And as we inhale, we're going to lift the chest, send the hands back towards the heel. Exhale, release. If you want to take it up a level, maybe lifting the feet at the same time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Just staying at whatever level feels good for you. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We take one more here. Inhale, lift. Keep breathing. We're going to hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and gently release. Press into the hands. Come back into our child's pose. So big toes to touch. Sink back. Either extending the hands this time or bringing the hands down to the heels. Just rounding through the spine. And then coming back
to the breath. So that breath that we started the practice with, coming back to that breath and just taking a quick scan of the body again, just noticing if anything feels different to the last time we were here in this position when we started the practice. If it doesn't, that's absolutely fine. If it does, then that's good too. Take one more breath together. Inhale. Exhale, release. Pressing up onto the knees, crossing over at the feet and coming down into a comfortable seated position. Just taking a couple of rounds of our boat pose, so really working into the core here. There's a few different levels, so work to whatever your body needs. So we're keeping the feet flat on the floor to start with the knees bent. We're going to take the hands by the sides, or we're going to take the hands to the backs of the knees, or we're going to take the hands straight out ahead. So whatever level works for you, so level 1, level 2, level 3. We're trying to keep the chest as close to the thighs as we can, really opening out through the chest, keeping the shoulders back and the head lifted. So coming into our boat pose, we start to come up onto the toes. We're then going to take one foot first and then the second off the floor. So if you're here, or if you're here. What we don't want is to be here with the shoulders roll. It's better to be here with that little bit of support and lose the ego. So taking your position, we tap the toes down once, we tap the toes down twice, we tap the toes down 3 times and hold, breathing here. And then release. We're just going to go through that 2 more times. So picking out your position, really breathing deep into that core. Again, this is just something to work on. If it doesn't work this time, that's absolutely fine. You can try it again. So picking that position, pick up 1 toe, pick up 2 toes. Take 1, take 2, take 3. 1, 2, 3, and release. Just trying that one last time. So remembering to keep breathing, really breathing through the chest, so don't hold the breath. Really getting deep into those core muscles. Finding your position, pick up 1 foot, then the other. We tap down for 1, for 2, for 3, we hold for 1, 2, 3, and release. So placing the soles of the feet together, clasping the hands around the toes, just gently, just moving those legs up and down. So really opening out the hips here, and then just letting the head and the neck bow down. Maybe taking the elbows to the insides of the calves, just gently guiding them down towards the floor, just relaxing and releasing the upper body here. Coming back to that breath. And then releasing. So taking the right leg straight out in front of you. Bringing the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Just angling the hips gently over the right leg. We're going to inhale, float the hands up. Then as we exhale, we're going to hinge from the hips, taking the chest down towards the thigh. If we only get to here, then that's absolutely fine. If we can go a little bit further, then maybe taking the hands round the foot, maybe taking the nose down towards the shin. Wherever you are, just breathing in to that right leg, feeling that release in the hamstrings. So staying here for 1 more breath. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to windmill that left hand back behind the left hip. Pressing into that left hand, we're going to lift the hips up, take the right hand back over, feeling a really nice opening in the hips. Inhale. Exhale, float the right hand back down. Come back to seated. Take the left leg out this time. Right foot folds into the inside of the left leg. Doing the same on the other side. So angle the hips very slightly over that left leg. Inhale, the hands up, relax the shoulders. And exhale, fold. So trying to keep the chest lifted. So if we're here, and the chest is lifted, that's a lot better than being rolled over here. So really think about sending the hips back in this forward fold, and then just finding that level of stretch for you, so whatever works for you today. Taking 2 more breaths. Let's inhale as you exhale. So we windmill that hand, right hand back behind the right hip, press into the hand, lift up, open up the hips. Inhale. Exhale, folding down. Just taking a gentle twist now. So we're taking both feet out in front to start. We're then going to bend the right knee. Pick that right knee up. Taking the left hand, we're either going to catch hold of the outside of the right knee or the outside of the right foot if it's available, and then pick that right foot up off the floor. So if this is enough here with this bent right knee, then staying here. If you want to take it a little bit further, then maybe starting to straighten out that right leg. Keeping the chest lifted, so if the right leg's straight, just make sure we're not hunched down. Keeping that chest lifted, so either knee bent or knee straight. And then maybe trying to take that right hand out behind, taking a twist through the torso. If you are here, so whichever level you're at, and the right hand's back, then just seeing if you can look back towards the right hand. So really feeling a twist in the torso, feeling that lengthening in the right hamstring, trying to keep that left foot nice and flat on the floor. Take 1 more breath. And then release the hand, release the leg, just shake those legs out here. So doing the same on the other side. So picking that left leg up. Again, if it's enough here, then just staying here with this bent leg. If you can, take the right hand to the outside of the left foot. If the knee needs to stay bent, then just stay here. If you can, straighten out that left leg, and then maybe take the left hand behind. Sitting up tall, so breathing into the twist. Remember, as we inhale, we lengthen through the spine. As we exhale, we deepen our twist or our pose. So seeing if you can look back towards the left hand. Take 1 more breath here, inhale. Exhale, release. So making your way down onto your back. Bringing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a hug, just gently rocking from side to side. Maybe taking the head and neck from side to side too. Just releasing and relaxing everything here. And then releasing the legs, letting the knees knock over to the right hand side, trying to stack the left knee on top of the right. If you need to move the hips back, to do so, and then trying to get the left shoulder down onto the floor. Take the gaze over the left shoulder, either take the hands straight out to the side or in that nice cactus position. Maybe closing the eyes off here, just bringing the attention back to the breath and slowing that breathing back down. As you start to release and relax into this nice twist. So we're wringing out into the lower back, releasing any last bits of tension or tightness from the body. And then just picking the knees up, taking them over to the left. Take the gaze over to the right. Again, trying to stack that right knee on top of the left. Trying to press the right shoulder to the floor. Maybe closing the eyes off again here if that feels good. And breathing into the twist. And then coming back to centre, picking those knees up again, wrapping the legs around, this time bringing the nose up towards the knees, giving yourself a big hug, showing yourself that bit of self-kindness, that bit of compassion, that bit of self-love this morning. And then releasing, taking a full body stretch, so the feet come down, the hands come up overhead, reaching everything. Making any last movements, so maybe moving from side to side, if that feels good. And then making our way down into our final Shavasana. So taking the feet about hip width apart, just relaxing the knees, the ankles, the feet. Take the hands by the sides with the palms facing upwards, just closing the eyes off here. Feeling the body grow heavy, feeling it sink down into the earth. This is the point in a yoga practice where all the physical, all the poses that we've just done download into the body and the body reaps all the benefits. There is nothing to do at this point apart from just relax and release. So you might notice again the mind starts to wander with all the stillness. If it does, just acknowledge those thoughts and then just bring the attention gently back to the breath. There is nothing you can do about what happened yesterday. There's nothing you can do about what might happen after this practice. All you can do is be present and relax. Just gently bringing some movement back into the fingers and toes. If you want to stay in your Shavasana a while longer, then just taking whatever you need here. And to gently come out, bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. And then make your way over onto your right hand side. So keeping the eyes closed just for a moment. Take a moment for yourself here. And then when you're ready with the eyes closed, come up into a comfortable seated position. So maybe crossing the legs, maybe taking the knees round to the side. Take the palms together, place the hands at heart center. Just bow the head very slightly down towards the hands. Just take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time out of your busy day to move your body, to practice without ego, and to show yourself a little bit of kindness and a little bit of compassion. Thank you so much for coming to practice with me this morning. Thank you for letting me guide you through. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling a little bit lighter and freer now, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you on the mat very soon. Thank you very much.